Today on the channel, we've got a giant size review with Haslab Giant Man. On the way I got it figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? So I got it figured. Back with another Marvel Legends review. This time we're looking at the Haslab Giant Man. Obviously, I got this figure from Hasbro Pulse, part of the Haslab Giant Man campaign, and as embarrassing as it is to say it, I bought it by accident. So I backed the campaign, and I was going to cancel it, but I forgot to cancel it, and it ended up just getting charged to me when the campaign was over. So I was like, well, guess I bought a Giant Man. And he came when everybody else got theirs, but with trips to Arizona and all other kind of things like that, wasn't able to get a review up on him in time for all of that stuff. So we're doing it here at the end of the year. As you can see, his box is quite large. I'm going to still show the box, but it's going to be perhaps slightly more difficult. We will get to that as we always do. Alright, so looking at the box for Giant Man, it's a pretty big box. Not quite as big as Galactus, I think, but it's big. It's very difficult to keep in the frame. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. This is probably going to be my least favorite part of doing this review for a couple of reasons. One, like I said, the box just doesn't fit in the frame, and I don't really want to follow the normal format because of it, but you know, got to show everything. So the other thing with the box is I don't like the box. This is one of the choices that we had for Giant Man box. I picked the Phil Noto one, but that's not the one that won. It was this one with this sort of imaginary version of the Avengers. And what I mean by that is there's no team in the comic book that ever comports exactly to this roster that's on the box. I mean, I'm trying to figure out like one of those off continuity stories where they sort of were just doing a generic Avenger stories. I don't remember exactly these 7 guys. It never happened. So what it looks like we have here is the movie Avengers, which would be Hulk, Hawkeye, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, and Black Widow, with the addition of Wasp and Giant Man, which never happened even in the MCU. So you have this sort of weird mishmash of Avengers. Now, that's not to say that this wouldn't be a cool team if it was a team. I'm just saying that it's not a team that exists anywhere. Then add to the fact that they got Captain America front and center with these stupid straps on his chest, when the straps are the straps that go on the shield. They're the straps to the shield. They're not straps that go on his outfit. They're not just straps. They're supposed to be the straps on the shield. Now, that said, in a very recent storyline in the comic books, they did the Blood Hunt storyline where it was like the Avengers versus vampires, basically. And in the Avengers issues with Captain America, he had the straps on. The guy was drawing them with the straps like they belonged there. But then in some panels, the straps weren't there. It was very ridiculous. I think they were using the figure as sort of a reference or something. And it's not like the straps don't look cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the straps don't look cool, but they don't belong there if the shield isn't on his back. You can't have the shield if it's the straps to the shield. He has straps on the shield. So now he's got straps on the shield, the straps on his shoulders. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. So, but beyond that, you have the original Avengers. You have Black Widow and Hawkeye, who came later. As another bit of trivia, we don't have an original Avengers Hulk, but yet Trunks and the Frankenstein kind of head. We don't have that yet. Hopefully in the next year or so we'll get it. Even if I'm not collecting Marvel Legends, I'll buy that figure at any time. So please bring that out, Hasbro. We need that for our original Avengers roster. But I don't want to get too into the weeds with it, and I don't want to rant too much. But I did not pick this box. Not the box that I would have picked. So there you go. On the side of the box, we have the magical fake Avengers roster, and we see that they are considering this a part of the Beyond Earth's Mightiest collection. Beyond Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Marvel Legends series at the bottom. And everybody's on the side here except Giant Man, because, well, it's his box, of course. And maybe the coolest thing about the box, even though I can tell you I'm not going to use it because it's still not in the frame. So now for the part that I think is the coolest thing about the box, even though I'm not going to use it, is this backdrop. Stand Giant Man in front of it, and it'll kind of look like, you know, the front of the box, but it's still going to be out of the frame, and so I'm probably just not going to use it. I do like the nice touch with the broken Ultron drone and the trash and all that. That's kind of cool, but yeah. So this is probably going to be the suckiest box review I ever do, but you know, I feel like it needs to be in there. So next we're going to get Giant Man out and take a look at him. All right, very quickly, we've got Giant Man out of the package, and you can see he's really tall. Obviously not as tall as Galactus, but you know, pretty big dude. Doesn't have his antennas on yet. You get a little bag of antennas for whichever teddies you want to use. And of course I do have the janky eyes going on, so he's looking over here. I actually think with all the detail, he actually looks kind of crazy, really, but it's great. It's a lot of detail. It's probably too much. Got his little fingers there and his ratchety feet. We'll get into that when we start posing him around. What I want to show, of course, is his accessories. Real quick, show those. Besides, of course, the antenna. He has a smiley face, which looks almost like a Jack Nicholson type of deal. Look to the side. The zombie face, where the eyes are actually straight. And the angry face, where the eyes are look like they move. They're moving in there. So I'll definitely be getting the replacements. I haven't ordered them yet, but I will. I don't think there's a time limit on it. And then you get your little Giant Man instruction booklet. Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest. Show you how to do all the stuff. His head comes off. like that. So, I guess just preliminarily, we'll show all the details they've packed into this guy, which is considerable. You can see he's got like mesh styling on his outfit, a lot of texture on his boots. A lot of detail on the face and the mask. Running them around. Focus on the posterior or anything. But, you know, it's a very, very detailed figure. What I'm going to do next is get him sort of, let's say, show ready, and be right back. Alright, so we got him posed, which is probably how he's going to be more or less posed, probably for all time. But as you can see, he can stand on his knee, on his own power. And, you know, he does look good. Probably going to have to adjust it a little bit so he's not leaning like that. But he is standing on his own power, supported by his own weight. Nothing from me. His fingers are, of course, superposable, but they're really difficult. I've heard of people breaking their giant man fingers and having to get replacement fingers. I don't want to do that. But to have him here with other Marvel Legends and everything, just kind of get this sense of scale of them. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but the idea was to have him with all the other original Avengers, which is part of the reason I got him. This is Giant Man as of Avengers number 2 and beyond. So, you know, he has a very specific roster of the Avengers, or 2 rosters in a way. And it's good to have him. I mean, you know, he's great. The figure's great. They did a good job with the detail and everything. I would like to see a Giant Man that probably stands at this height, totally standing in the middle, like an in-between Giant Man. Or if they're not going to do that, at least Goliath. Another one of Hank Pym's identities. Maybe they could work out a Giant Man / Hawkeye Goliath when Hawkeye was using the Pym particles because he felt like being a bowman wasn't sufficient. There's a lot of ways you could go, but yeah, that's a pretty deep pose for him to be able to stand on his own weight, so I have to give them kudos for that. I'm probably not going to change the faces and everything right now. You know, I really feel somewhat overwhelmed with this review. Manipulating him in this space is somewhat daunting. So what I'm going to do is put some other Avengers out with him so we can have that look. And then I'll give final thoughts, impressions, that sort of thing. Be right back. So firstly, you've got the Avengers number 1 roster, the original Avengers. Well, in number 1 he was Ant-Man. So let's say the Avengers number 2 roster. Hulk was still a part of the team, and Iron Man was wearing the gold suit, and Wasp and Thor. There you go. There. Let's pull up another team roster here. So by issue 3, we had Iron Man with a new version of his armor, and Wasp and Thor. Hulk was out. Finally, in Avengers number 4, we had what I would call the settling of the roster, where Captain America joined. And this was the Avengers roster for a good 12 issues or so, until Captain America was left to command the Avengers with Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. And you know, they all look great. That's sort of the point of Giant Man. So I think we covered that base quite well. Final thoughts on Marvel Legends Haslab Giant Man from the Beyond Earth's Mightiest collection. I mean, what can I say? It's a Haslab. It's a great figure. And I know this is going to be, you know, in my opinion, probably the worst review I've ever done. But manipulating him in the space that I have is quite daunting. And keeping him in the frame is also quite daunting. So, you know, I did what I could do with it. I definitely feel like this is some kind of ramshackle review. But I just got to get better as a filmer or something like that. I don't know. But what can I say? I like the figure. It's the best accident that I've done in a long time. I was not slated to get him. I did back the campaign, but I was supposed to cancel it. I believe I mentioned that earlier. But I didn't cancel it. And I'm glad I didn't. He's here. I got my full Captain America Lives Again issue 4 roster of the Avengers, along with, of course, can't forget the small version of Hank Pym if you want to make him not giant. There's an option, but you know, you have Giant Man. You have Giant Man. It's definitely going to be a 10. Or I do think that, you know, the eye problem would definitely be an issue if it wasn't that they were already Johnny on the spot with the fits. So I'm going to give them credit for that. And I'm going to order my fixed eyes. Somebody can tell me in the comments if they get this far in the video whether or not the eye, like you have to send back the jank ones, or are they just going to sort of verify that you actually bought a Haslab Giant Man and just send you the faces, you know, replace them. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Tomorrow we will have the top 10 Marvel Legends of 2024. I don't put Haslabs on top 10 lists for the lines that I do, so Giant Man won't be on it, but that doesn't mean you won't see him in the video. So that will do it for this one. Thanks for watching. I will definitely try to make the next Haslab video I do better, and there is one coming, so you know, no pressure on myself, I guess. But until next time, everybody stay safe, happy collecting. See you on the next video. Oh, and go Ravens. Peace.
The way I got it figured.